Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television series. This is Bill, and I am just coming at you real quick here on Thursday, the night after Season 8 aired, and due to my travel schedule and some things happened, I was unable to view the show, and so I'm behind right now, and Sharpie is very tolerantly waiting for me to get my poop in a group. But until then, we don't want to leave you too hungry for some hot dish. So what we're going to actually do is we're releasing our interview with Maggie Phillips, the music supervisor for Season 3 and Season 2 of Fargo. So we're so thankful she was able to take time out of her schedule and chat with us a few weeks ago. So we will be coming at you with our hot dish / full breakdown very soon for Episode 8. But thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy this chat we had with Maggie Phillips. Here we are back with Maggie Phillips, music supervisor for FX Fargo. Well, not just for that. You're doing it for so many things. And we were talking briefly while we waited for Sharp to do it. We all rebooted, and it was a merry old time. But yeah, it's been like 19 months since we last spoke with you, and I feel like it was so funny. You had that story that you were like, "Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to stick with this," and now I feel like you've not only stuck with it, but you're like, "Hey, how much shit can I do at once?"
But I'm doing Fargo and Legion. Right now I'm doing Fargo Season 3, which still isn't done. It's close. And then Legion Season 2 will start up again in a month or two. And other TV I'm doing a few shows for FX. I'm doing Snowfall, which starts July 5th. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool show.
They've been pushing that they've been pushing that one real hard in the like interstitial ads on the streaming.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty badass." And then I looked that up, and I'm like, "Oh, well, we can ask Maggie about that somewhere after we get through some Fargo stuff."
Yeah,
here,
yeah. And then there's a few, there's Animals is still going on. There's another show on HBO with Mark Duplass that's going to premiere at the end of July called Room 104. I'm doing a show with Netflix and a show with there's some shows coming out later in the year, early next year, that I'm working on now, but won't excite people because they're new shows. So we can just talk about what's in front of us right now.
Yeah, that'll be sweet though to check back in later, hopefully. And
yeah,
I know. But so I don't know, Sharpie, do you want to kick us off with something? I know you got some notes.
Sure.
On your end.
I read an article on Uprocks by a guy named Stephen Hayden. I hope you've been reading his stuff because it's pretty much all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things.
All of them, but I've read a few. Yeah.
Okay. But I think it was prior to the first episode airing. He said that many of the best and most talked about shows on television do this very well. And by this, he's talking about music, like picking the right types of music for the story. The Americans, Big Little Lies, Better Call Saul, Mr. Robot, Legion, Halt and Catch Fire. But there's one show that does it better than the rest. FX's Fargo. How does that make you feel?
Good.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
I think that's one of the things that the show is getting known for, or has been known for, that was sort of out of left field, not expected when people were anticipating the show in general. And I'm talking about prior to Season 1. And now it's become sort of this one of the things that it's known for, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps they say we do it better than anyone else because there's very little barriers as far as genre and sound and time period. And I think some shows, because of the nature of the show and the story they're telling, it's confined, and we get to open it up, and there's no rules. And so we get to go all over the map and go crazy. And that's, for me, the most exciting part about Fargo. But it's cool, really cool that people are recognizing that and paying attention to the musical cues. It's quite different than working on a show where the music's just sitting in the background,
Sure. So you said that you mentioned just previously that Fargo Season 3 isn't finished yet.
No.
How does it end?
So how much do you know into the future, and how to, like, for example, the very first song, I think the very first song that airs in this season is that Kukushka song by the Cossacks Choir.
Yeah.
Which translates to the cuckoo. Then later on, we get the story of Peter and the Wolf, and we learn that Emmett is represented by the bird and Ray is the duck. So did you know that kind of stuff before you picked this song, the cuckoo?
We knew, the only thing that I knew prior to reading the scripts was Peter and the Wolf.
Okay.
That was Noah's first idea for this season.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and we wanted to clear the David Bowie narration.
Mhm.
There's and it was just way too cost prohibitive. So that's when we decided to bring in Billy Bob Thornton to do the narration. And actually, it was Jeff Russo, the composer, who did all the music. He recorded and arranged a whole new Peter and the Wolf world. So that was sort of like one of those, you get put in a difficult place with money and you figure your way out. And I mean, David Bowie's narration is amazing and people should definitely check it out, but it doesn't have the layer that Billy Bob Thornton added.
And that was a delight.
Yeah, there were so many people who, like, even in the things we read or even the notes we get from our people who listen to the show, there was a lot of people who were really excited to hear Billy Bob's voice again. Especially with the amount of like kind of wolf imagery that was in season 1 with him. And so it sure was nice. I mean, as much as I think David Bowie's voice kicks ass, I mean, I could listen to him and Bing Crosby sing the Little Drummer Boy thing all over again.
But yeah, it would have been great for other reasons. But the Billy Bob Thornton, I think it was just a satisfying moment for the fans to hear, like you said, to hear his voice again.
Yeah. Fun fact, Stephen Hayden, the guy that Sharpie was bringing up, is he's from Wisconsin, Sharpie. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, he went to Eau Claire. Big drinky
town. He's cool, but I think he's like, his articles are brilliant. He's a brilliant writer, but he definitely reads a little too more into the music than is actually there. I think
that's what we're all doing, though.
Yeah, but a lot of it is, but I think that's the point. Everyone brings in their own story and their own, ideas, and just because Noah or I didn't think that doesn't mean it isn't true or the truth,
I don't know.
That's the beauty of stories.
I feel pretty sure that you guys could be like, nah, you're super wrong.
No, because I mean, this is getting like a little too silly to talk about, but it's your own truth. So, and I think that's what's cool about TV, especially a show like this, is it's the audience participation is a big part of the show, and the fans are a big part of the show, and we think about that while we're making it. So.
Your own truth, like Napravda and Pravda. I feel like you're reaching into the show here about speaking your own truth. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we're interested in, though, too. I mean, like, I just do that whole, like, where in the process do you get a script and then you immediately start thinking about stuff, or do you eventually start seeing, like, I mean, I don't know how tight they run, like, dailies and things for you guys on set. Like, where do you come up with, you're like, hey, I'm going to use, I don't even know, Adriano Celentano, like, if we're still in episode 1 quickly talking about that, like...
That was in post. The stuff, it just depends. It depends on the script. Stuff that's written into the script, I'll start clearing right away. And those are Noah's ideas or the writer's ideas. And this is like this on every show and movie I work on. If it's in the script, that's the initial starting point. But Noah decides a lot of that in post. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So that
song that,
go ahead,
Bill, you're talking about the Prison colon Ensign Kuzo or something.
I can't say.
Was that Noah's idea in post?
That was a song I sent to Noah for Legion.
Okay.
And I thought he threw it in there because I sent it to him for Legion, but I just found out, I was just hanging out with him, and he said he saw the video in front of a movie at the Alamo Drafthouse in Austin. I don't know if you guys seen the video for that song. It's from 75. Yeah, check it out on YouTube. And that's where he thought of it. So I don't know if I planted the seed, but that was Noah. Like, that's a song I've had in my back pocket for a couple years, and like can't wait to use it. But Noah placed it to that scene. Beautiful.
And for those, just to catch people or to remind people of when this song played, this is when Ray and Nikki Swango are walking into their first bridge tournament.
The Wildcat.
And you hear this Italian. Well, he's an Italian guy, but he sounds kind of American in the song.
It's a totally nonsensical song. It doesn't. There's no real Italian words there. What he's doing is singing a song. He's making sounds that sound like American words to him. That's what the song is. So it's an amazing backstory to the song, and NPR did a piece on it like 5 years ago. And if
if we can link to it, I think we can in the show notes.
Yeah, I can do that.
We'll put a link. We'll put a link in there because it's a fascinating little. It's like a 7-minute listen. They do an interview with this Adriano guy, and it is really interesting.
What did he say? I haven't heard that.
I can tell you. I pulled some quotes from that interview. He basically wanted to write a song about the inability to communicate, and I'll quote him here. He said, "I had to write a song where the lyrics didn't mean anything. It's like what happened with the Tower of Babel. Everybody wanted to get toward the sky, and they were being punished because God confused all the languages and nobody could communicate anymore." And he wanted to write something that sort of embodied that. And so he wrote a song that's complete gibberish, but sounded like what English, like American-speaking English, sounds like to an Italian. So there's no real words in that song except for like "all right," I think is the only real word.
Which is perfect because and communication's a theme throughout the entire season, or lack of, or miscommunication, and so it was a perfect way to start that theme in this season. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're okay. He reminded me. It's like almost the opposite of like, I don't know if you guys are into Don Rickles at all. But when you would see Don Rickles on Carson, he would always do this like fake Italian, and it was never really Italian. But he always used to give like Sinatra and all those guys a lot of shit in Vegas. And if you go look it up, like almost every time he talks to Carson, he does this like, "Hey, it's the and the way he does it, it sounds real. And God, for all I know, maybe it is real, but I guarantee you, Don Rickles is not.
No, it's
Mr.
not.
Warmth. Mr. Warmth is not fluent in Italian, but. Yeah. I don't know.
When Don Rickles passed away just recently, Howard Stern had a really good breakdown of that, specifically what you're talking about.
Oh,
Bill.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, because Howard Stern loved Don Rickles because Don Rickles was the only guy that could give like the Rat Pack, like those guys shit that were like legitimately connected with mobsters, and he's like making fun of them in front of their face.
Yeah, you got to look up the YouTube video of him on Carson talking about him. We're off track, sorry. Talking to Carson, telling Johnny Carson the story about how he was trying to impress a woman. Look it up. It's Don Rickles tries to impress woman, and he wants Frank Sinatra to come over to the table, and it's just. And I've heard Frank tell the story, and I've heard Rickles tell the story too, and it's one of those ones where it's like it's really weird for two people to make up the same kind of story, but.
Okay.
So
there's
go ahead, Sharpie.
There's songs that like Crazy on You, Three Dog Night's Liar, Galactic's You Don't Know, maybe the Kukushka song. Some of those songs are just so fitting to the exact context of what you're in. Like say Three Dog Night's Liar. That's when we're seeing Thaddeus Mobley start to get seduced and whatnot. Were those songs like let's just take Liar specifically. Was that specifically in the script or chosen prior? No,
there were very few. Like last season there was only the Children of the Sun by Billy Thorne.
Okay.
And I think there was one other, but he doesn't write a lot of songs into. It's after. And this year it was, I believe, only Peter and the Wolf. Crazy on You wasn't in it. No.
So when you're looking for a song to go with the scene of Thaddeus Mobley getting seduced in a movie theater, and it turns out to be Three Dog Night's Liar, like how do you start researching what song to use? Do you start looking at like what's going on in the scene, or do you pick something that or is it more like scientific in terms of like, I want something this many beats per minute that kind of feels like this time period?
Or do you just say I need a Liar title?
For Liar, I think we wanted to. There's a few times when we want to do a callback to season 2, and we had the Three Dog Night Shambhala. I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's in the scene where Kirsten Dunst is in the bus. I think it was episode 7. But anyway, so we did that. We also we've seen 5, right? 5 was.
Yep, we just finished 5 last week.
Yeah, this is we just finished the episode where you open with "It's hard to be humble," and like towards the end, I'll have a question about it later. Like the tracksuits in this one, and "World Party" is the last song.
World Party, yeah. So that song by Mac
Davis.
Thank you. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This is me on 20 hours of work today.
We're here
Mac
for you,
Davis,
Maggie.
Thank you. Hard to be humble. that was a song we tried to get into season 2. So we had done so much research and digging for season 2 that and we had so many songs that we couldn't get into season 2 that we are pulling back for season 3. So we have that list plus a list of Noah's ideas and my ideas, and
oh, nice.
Sometimes it just comes like it's as simple as the editor has the playlist and they pull from it and it works beautifully. And Liar, I think, was something that just immediately worked, and there wasn't any talk about do we need to replace that. It was perfect. And I think all of us have developed a sort of shorthand, the editors and Jeff and me and Noah, that I'm seeing that happen with other shows after you get into the second or third season. It's nice because you know what you've created, and there's less guessing and there's less trial and error. So,
yeah, and is that common for other shows as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still new to TV, but like definitely Animal season 2 was so easy compared to season 1, and I'm starting on another show, People of Earth, where we're in season 2, and I've already created the music, the world, the sort of the world that we live in, and it's already been defined, and then you are working within those parameters. That being said, I just contradicted myself because Fargo, there really aren't any parameters. But maybe that's the world we created, no parameters.
Yeah, but it's still a Cohen universe kind of that you're working with.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's the Tibetan, I don't know if I'm even saying that right,
Tuvan throat singing, yeah.
Throat singing, which I think, I haven't seen this movie, but it comes up in Hail Caesar. So, there's some borrowing, and we know it's going to work because it's worked previously. Oh, it might not be Hail Caesar that the throat singer. You know what? I'm sorry. It's the Cossacks choir that was in Hail Caesar.
Yeah. But thinking about the topic of the borrowing, and I've been on our podcast. I'm a Big Lebowski fan, so I've been, of course, seeing Big Lebowski stuff all over. And so I'm thinking about so in the Big Lebowski, they have Tumbling Tumbleweeds by the Sons of the Pioneers is in there. And for the minute I saw Gloria getting off that bus to go get her car.
In the sky.
Yeah, is that something you guys get to say? Like, is that? I felt like that was just a big like, boop. Here you go. There's this thing, and it's fun, and it's like it makes me feel good when I hear it. You know?
It comes back to talking about like the fact that we consider the fans for sure. Like these are people that there's great satisfaction in those little nods to these movies that we love. Wait until episode 8. There's a scene. I can't say what it takes.
I was just going to say, am I going to have to cut this whole thing out?
It takes place in a place of business that people will be very satisfied if you're fans of The Big Lebowski.
Oh Bill.
God. Yeah.
So
I'll try to. I'm guys, keeping my cool right now.
When that scene comes up, you will know what I'm talking about. It involves
I'm excited.
Well,
Gloria.
you can't tell us that. What if she's dead?
Okay.
And maybe a furry animal.
Oh.
I can't say it. I won't say anything else. That's so like, there's nothing specific there.
No, it's okay.
A song that really excited me was from season 2 or episode 2, season 3. The closing credits song "American Wedding" by Gogo Bordello.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, was that a holdover from previous seasons, or how did that come up?
That was Noah. I don't even know how I found that. Sometimes, I think is that a gypsy?
Yeah, they're like they're a Rasha bunch.
Yeah, he and I went into the gypsy world because of
Django Reinhardt.
No.
Doing like old school gypsy jazz kind of.
Yeah, well, the Django Reinhardt and more the Rebirth Brass Band has slowly started becoming Nikki's sound and her sort of theme music, who's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. You hear another gypsy piece at the beginning of Rumba at the beginning of episode 3.
Is that the? Well, no, sorry. I was going to say Jingo, but that was Santana. There was Santana.
There's Santana. Yeah, there's Santana.
Was it Arisa?
Yes.
I don't remember who that's by. Sorry, I don't have.
No, I forget too
Wancho
because
Wanko.
What?
Yeah, That's who it's by. Can you pronounce there's so many songs in this season that I can't pronounce the bands or the name of the song. So I could spell it for you. I could tell you how much it cost and how we cleared it, but I can't pronounce it.
Well, the reason why I liked American Wedding, this is a little tidbit for y'all. I once was a partner in a production company that is now no longer exists, but we're all still like great friends, called the Dandy Dwarves, which is a name that has a whole nother story. But we did that music video for American Wedding.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
So where's the band from?
They're from New York, aren't they?
Nah, I don't think so.
I thought it was something East Coasty.
I mean, we shot it in New York.
Oh, maybe
I would have to look this up.
I wasn't at the shoot though, so I never met him. But my buddy, who was a partner in the company.
There are so many times I'm listening and I'm like, this is so incredibly. Yeah, they're from the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Unless Wikipedia's lying.
It's always truthful.
Wikipedia never lies. Look here, man has baby. That's a fact. There are so many times though. I mean, even going to the going back to last season with the what was it, Yama Yama Suki? No.
Yeah, the Yamasuki singer singing Yama Yama.
I mean, I still put that on sometimes. I don't know why.
That is a fantastic song.
I don't know what
you can't get out of your head. That's another song that I had in my back pocket for a while and was so excited. That's what, like with Fargo, we get to put in these songs that like this is why Noah and I work so well together, is like he gets just as excited about a song like that as I do, and like whether or not I put the seed in Noah's head for that Adriana Catalina song, or we just both realized it was part of this music world that we're creating and, independently, I don't know, but he and I listen to music in a similar way. So
do you have other music supervisor friends that you bounce ideas off of, or that you maybe share little secret caches of songs with? No, you don't want to share your songs with others.
I was about to say, that feels secret.
Yeah, but it can work both ways.
That's our IP. No, like that's like, I don't want them. I mean, obviously it's all up for grabs, but if I have some song that I'm like, at some point I want to place this, and believe me, if it's a big placement, I research where it's been used before and stuff, but I do have one music supervisor friend that I love talking to, and his name is Zach Cowie, and he's the guy who did Master of None, and he's just brilliant. And he worked in A&R for a while, and then started doing he has done a lot of reissues in his life. And he's a DJ as well. So I found out after the fact that he's like, some of the reissues that I've loved and have spoken about and placed, he was actually the one that reissued them, like a weird percentage of the songs and records that I love. So
okay. So if you are out, if he's a friend of yours and you're out just like having a cocktail or something, do you hold back certain songs that you might?
No.
Okay.
You hear a really great song, you're like, this song sucks.
but we actually are working together on a movie. He's great. We say we have the same ears. I really like the way he listens to music, but I think all music supervisors are cagey about that, but they're not cagey about other things. Like we talk, like you need someone to commiserate with. And, but yeah, you don't want to share your ideas.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many songs in the world.
I totally was almost going to ask a question, then I realized, well, why the hell would you answer that? You just said I was going to be like, what's your best like kind of rap? I want a back pocket song. I want.
You have to watch to hear. No, I stopped sharing them. I used to make mixes for friends, but now my friends are so many filmmakers. I've stopped sharing my IP.
I don't make any films, so just update Spotify, and I'm cool with that.
Send you a playlist.
but yeah, I just love some of that stuff. So like, can you tell us a little bit, just to skip ahead for some people, to episode 5, like how and when did you know, like something like World Party? You're like,
Jeff told me about that at first, and I was like, we have to clear that song. Why didn't you tell me about it? Like we had to do that really quickly, the cover of World Party. And that was, that was Noah and Jeff started talking about it before they brought me in. And that's, I remember getting so mad with Jeff on the way to a spotting session. I think I was PMSing, but I was like, you need to tell me these things. Like that could be cost prohibitive. And I'm yelling at him. He's like, there's no reason for you to be reacting the way you are.
Have they already recorded it at that time?
No, but they were talking about it and there was not a lot of time. And like, I just get worried that when there's this amazing idea, I don't want to be the buzzkill or like, hey, we can't close publishing guys.
Yeah. There's no way you're going to get the rights or it's this much money. Yeah.
And Noah's pretty good about making sure we're both on emails when he gets ideas, but every once in a while he's not. But that was, again, total Noah. I initially thought he was talking about the Ship of Fools song by John Cale because we considered that song for Fargo season 2. But no, it was the World Party song. And then I flew down to Austin it was Noah singing it. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
So Jeff did the recording of the music separately, and then Noah is living in Austin for most of the time, and that's my hometown. So Noah tries to get me back to Austin as much as he can because he knows I want to be there. So I flew down to record his vocals for that song, and we recorded it at one of my oldest friends is Britt Daniel from Spoon. He's one of my oldest friends from Austin, and his drummer Jim Eno has a studio, and I wanted to get into Jim Eno's studio for a long time, and so it worked out for this, and he was great, Jim. Big props.
So speaking of that Austin thing, and I mean, I think we talked briefly about the Spoon thing, which, by the way, since I last talked to you, I have seen Spoon. But do you think that is a little bit of what you and Jeff actually have that kind of click with together? Because you being a native of Austin, kind of, you have all that, and then he's migrated there because I feel like that's just his music scene, and it's very important to him. And I feel like you guys have like this affinity with that whole. It's a different thing down there. It's definitely not Nashville, thank God.
No, it's not.
Don't
Nashville,
email me about that, by the way, people. Anyone who loves Nashville, don't send me mad messages.
So we're recording this year's score in Nashville. So I went out for one of the recording sessions and got to be in Nashville for the first time. It's a great city, but it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's one of the first, in our first meeting, that was one of the first things that we sort of clicked on was his wife is from Texas. He lives there. He brought his family there a couple years ago. I was born and raised, people from Austin, Texas are just sort of their own sort of breed. So I think just had a similar way of thinking about life. And he knows how much I miss Austin. And like, I keep talking, like, I'm like, Noah, you're my inspiration. At some point, the idea would be live in Austin as much as possible and only come back to LA when I need to. But I think that's definitely what we connected on. And because we both had such a love for it, that's why we tried to get the Austin artists into season 2. And, when we were doing the covers, and we try to do it. I mean, Noah is a different person in Austin than he is in LA, actually. Like, and so am I. Like, I walk off the plane and my whole body melts, and it's just a slower, more relaxed, more happy way of life.
I feel that's a story with everybody that I've met and hung out with in LA. It's just that it feels like a different place. It feels like you are a different person the whole time. It's like you're on a set
in LA. Yeah, there's no turning off. Everyone you know is pretty much. I mean, if you're in this industry, pretty much everyone you know is in the industry too, because that's just the people you surround yourself with. And there's no off switch. In Austin, I immediately become just Maggie, not Maggie, the music supervisor, and that's a nice sort of place to be in.
So stepping it back to episode 4, and let me know if I'm reading too much into this, because Bill and I, it's like our job, we have a podcast.
I think it's cute that Sharpie called it our job. That would assume we make a whole bunch of money doing this.
No, but it is your job.
We have tens of listeners.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, jump on. Yeah.
But the episode finishes with Galactics You Don't Know. And so, of course, Bill and I are going like, wait, what is Maggie trying to tell us? We don't know. Is that like really the message from a song like that? Or is that just a great song?
Well, I think there's foreshadowing to the end of the season with that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm laughing so hard because Sharpie remembered that I said that.
What is Maggie? No, the last scene of the last episode
Okay.
Think you don't know.
I'm scared. I can't believe you remembered I said that, Sharp, because I did say I don't even remember if I said that on the podcast or just on the phone. And I was like, we think way too hard about this, and maybe it's just a good fucking song, and that's all there is to it. And then it's like, you don't know. And I was like, maybe Maggie and Noah are just telling us, fuck you guys. We're just leading you down you down the primrose path like a Ferris Bueller scene.
No, I think there's a lot of thought and foreshadowing in our music. My only thing with the Uprock Stephen Hayden guy is I think he takes it to a next level.
Well, that's his bag.
With yeah, which is so cool. Like he did some cool comparison to like, what was it? One of our bands. I'm not going to remember correctly, but yeah, he takes it to the next level, which is fucking awesome. But.
Yeah, and he's written for a lot of places. I mean, it's not like his first little. I mean, I think he's written for Rolling Stone, and he used to be at Grant. He was at Grantland before Uprocks, which is where, like Chuck Klosterman and a bunch of other guys were writing.
He's big time. I reached out to him. I was like, maybe you want to talk, and he was like, yeah, cool, but brushed me off. I was like, okay.
Well, I just found out about him I heard about it again from my friend Lindsay. We were having more than one beer at a bar here in town, and he told me like 3 times in a row that I need to, because I told him this was coming up, and I was like, you already told me. He's like, yeah, but I'm telling you, you gotta, this guy. And then he eventually just texted me like this name on my phone that I was like, what the hell does that say? And it was like,
it's the biggest compliment to my work ever.
Yeah.
Like I was so excited.
Amazing.
It is. I was so excited when I read that first article. So,
it's so fun.
mean yeah, it just makes me feel like maybe I should be smarter than I am.
Well, it's just fun when you get people who have a pretty good deep well of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and not more like Sharpie and I, who have a certain amount of knowledge, and then the rest we rely on Siri and Shazam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everyone does. And you know, I say this to some people, like, music supervision is definitely about taste and knowledge, but there's so many parts that aren't about that. So, you know, like that's the misconception of this job, is people are like, oh, what a dream job. Or, oh, I know a lot about music. I am an avid record collector, and I probably know more than this girl who's picking out songs for the show, but you know, God bless, but it's like, that's 20% of the job. So,
yeah. What happens for something like, so I'm going to move just kind of off the rock thing.
I just said, God bless. Okay, keep going. I've never said that in my life.
Do you want me to, should I cut it?
Cut the God bless. If you leave the God bless in there, keep the part there. I'm like, what the fuck did I just say? Like,
well, this won't be like last time, because we're actually being cognizant about the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Last year it was like a 3-hour epic. It was like Lord of the Rings was a short thing compared to this.
But it was fun, and then we pulled on Jeff. And
oh God.
Yeah, that was a blast.
I wish we could do that, but it's just not.
I had to edit a lot of things out.
Sure. I think yeah.
There was a lot. But so just on a really random thing. So like when you, like, because I'm always interested in how these happen. Like, so when you deal with something like you're dealing with it was a Brahms piece in episode 5, right? How do you guys have to deal with, like, Nerd Bill wants to know, how do you clear stuff like that? You know, because it's like how does that work? Because isn't the music is technically in...
We have to clear the master recording. The music's in public domain, and we have to clear the master recording. And I try to stick with the recording we put into the initial cut, but every once in a while we can't afford it, and we have to replace with a cheaper. There's so many recordings of those pieces, you know.
But for something like that, so this is this very specific scene that I'm talking about for people who are thinking about the show. This is where VM Vargas in the goes up to Emmett in the car in the garage. I mean, so is this like you, or is this you and Noah, or is this Jeff and Noah, or like something like that? I mean, like when
this is me and Noah. Even Jeff's with the recording cues, that's like the source. Even if it's classical, that's us. Mm-hmm. It's not. Jeff doesn't really play a part in that.
Well, I was more like, where does the idea come? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that's between that, because that's in our master playlist. There was a bunch of this. Yeah, so
you just kind of knew it was already going to be in there.
I think I honestly think that one might have been put in by
somebody in the
editor. Yeah, because like what we do is the way it works is there's a director's cut, then a producer's cut, then a studio cut, then a network cut, and we spot after the producer's cut, and that song was in there. And sometimes I get involved with the director's cut, but sometimes I don't because it depends on the director. So that was in there, and so I don't know if it was the director or the editor. That one was in there, but they pull from our bin of music that we created before they even started shooting. So, and that was, I'm pulling it up right now to try to see what recording we did of that. But I mean, that goes to, it speaks to our accelerated post schedule. And it's two things. It's the accelerated post schedule and the fact that we've created this world that we all kind of know already. So, you know, that one was beautiful. And that we need good recording because of how prominently it was used. Yeah,
it was. I don't know. I love that scene.
Yeah, that's a good scene. I think almost all the scenes so far were pretty good.
I have to admit, my the tracksuit was my favorite musical cue from.
Really?
I like that kind of like. I heard that and I was immediately like, yeah. Yeah,
we've only seen up to 5, right?
Yeah, that's where I wished I. You know,
we're only halfway through.
It was we questioned whether or not we should wait longer in the season, but it's more important for us to like be able to sit down and talk to you, and that's why we really appreciate your time and stuff. You know, I'd rather find time now halfway through the season than at the end when you're, you know, because you've got, like, as we mentioned earlier on, that you've got a lot of other stuff going on and whatnot. But
I'll also say that there's been some Big Lebowski references in the next like 7, 8, 9. There's a lot of No Country for Old Men, which was very sparse. I don't even know if they used score. If they did, it was so minimal that it was unnoticeable. They might not. It might have been completely dry.
It is so dry.
Yeah. So the music is heavy in the beginning, and we're going dry. So there's a few episodes that you're not going to be like, "What's the song? I need to know." We're creating a very stark, cold, dark world.
That's good to know and fun to know.
Oh, it's Fargo. Oh, Fargo.
And I like the Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats song from the first episode.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm living in Denver.
I'm trying to think of some of my favorite music moments. You know what? The fucking Noah singing that Ship of Fools, I think is beautiful.
That's been the best moment for me so far.
And the way Jeff created, like, we go from Noah's voice to the score, then we pull in. I mean, and that was Jeff. He just arranged it.
That was awesome.
Yeah. It was mixed really well.
Yeah.
So before we go,
voice.
Yeah, it is. He's going through the gamut. He's done like a little bit of like the old school, you know, nothing but the baby. Like, yeah, I'm wondering like where does Noah want to venture next? Is he gonna? I mean, still waiting.
Before we know it, him and Jeff are gonna have a album out pretty soon.
I know. Well, that's what they like. It's the band. They keep trying to come up with a band name so we can credit a band name, but it's just been Noah and Jeff. But they have tried to come up with a band name. There'll be more collaborations, I'm sure. Many more to be had in the future.
That's awesome. Well, before we go, I don't want to know any of your back pocket songs. I'm always just interested in what you're currently like. If we opened up your, you know, Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, whatever, and we could secretly say, what has Maggie played a lot lately? And I don't care if it's like for film or not. This is like I shower to this song every day, so I feel happy, or I love driving. You got one of those? Maybe I just put you on the spot too much there. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I've been like playing like just randomly. I'm like, I completely got sucked into the Kendrick Lamar album lately. I have this assistant that I made and make me a playlist of new music that was worth listening to. I've been really disillusioned with new music, and so I haven't been spending any time with it. So I would say if you open up my Spotify, it would all range from like the 40s to the early 80s. I got but Andrew gave me some good songs, and there was a new Kendrick Lamar song on there. It was good. Yeah.
But I for Snowfall rediscovered soul and Motown and music that I never really got into, and then I listened to so much soul. I mean, there were some songs I loved, but never really dug deep and really explored that genre. And I got to listen to so many amazing songs for that show that when you pull out of living that, like listening to those songs over and over again and then go back to the music we're listening to nowadays, they seem completely soulless, like, so I just need to, I don't know what the right way of saying that, but I'm a little discouraged right now with current music.
Sure.
What I'm trying to think of some bands right now that I have been. The new Big Thief album is good. I
got to write all this down.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's out yet. The new Alex G record's good. Oh, I'm really excited about a band called Cher Mag. It's Cher like SHEER, Mag like Maggie, but without the GIE after. And they, I think, are out of Detroit. They're a super young band that have like some post-punk influences. They're great. Awesome. And the lead singer's female, and she's like balls to the wall. Like she's like doesn't give a shit, and I love that about her. So, and their album's coming out soon, so I would give a plug for that.
Yeah.
I tried to place them like a few years ago, and they said no. Like they said no, we're too punk rock. We're not going to let you use our music. And now they're.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I can't wait until they're like, oh wait, I can't make money without like. So,
hey, I got one. I got one for you to check out though.
Okay.
It's before we go, and really thank you so much. Monica Martin, who sang on that
Fox.
From Fox. Have you seen her new thing that she did with? His name is escaping me, but they're called Violence. Violents.
No, although the names, I feel like I've seen that name.
They just did a live thing with Paste Magazine a little bit ago, and it's just I don't know. I get all weepy over Monica's voice because
her voice is phenomenal.
Oh, it's just like it's so breathy and effortless.
Yeah,
and so check
spell
out
that again because
just go to VIOLENTSMUSIC.com. Violence Music. It's an album. Okay. It's the first album she's ever done with. The guy, I feel bad that I'm forgetting his name right now, but Jeremy Larson is his name. He wrote all the music and wrote all the lyrics and everything. So this is Monica's first foray into just singing somebody else's stuff. It's amazing. I hope you like it.
Okay, one quick thing I should say about me saying that modern music is soulless. That is because I don't know enough about current music. I don't want people to be like, what is she thinking? There's this. It's because I haven't had time to really explore. So
yeah, it gets like that though. You get into a thing, and what do you do? But
yeah, if you're listening exclusively to 60 to 79 soul music, things are going to sound different when you come out of that. So, but I do think it's also because I haven't had time to explore.
Yeah, I
need to carve a month out of my schedule where I go away and just listen to music, and that will be coming hopefully sometime this year.
You need to go to Austin, Maggie.
I know, I need to get down there. I'm going there on June 9th and 10th for a festival where we're going to talk about Fargo. So I am going home.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Maggie, for taking the time to talk to us. So we really do appreciate it. And it's wonderful work. We look forward to seeing everything else going on and can't wait.
Yeah, and shoot me an email if you have any questions about the songs that come up in the next few episodes.
Yeah, we will. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Okay.
Thanks, Maggie. Good to see you again.
Bye.
Take care.